Good afternoon, honorable members, members of the public, and our nominee. Let's start with a word of prayer. Almighty God, we in your wisdom and goodness have appointed the office of the leaders and council assemblies for the welfare of society and the just government of the people. We beseech you to behold with your abundant favor as your servants who have been pleased to call to the performance of important trusts in the Republic. Let your blessings descend upon us here assembled, and grant that we treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberations in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country and of those whose interests have been committed to our church. I believe the nominee or the lady seated before us is Ms.Gloria Wawuda Monikombo.
Yes,
yeah, Sergeant at Arms, and we have to partake of.
I, Gloria Wawuda Monikombo, do hereby swear to testify on all matters in question and tell this committee the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Yeah, I now want to take this opportunity to introduce the members of the Appointments Committee. I am Wisdom Mawuri, the Speaker of the County Assembly of Taveta.
Mwadime, MC and the Deputy Speaker, member of this committee.
Majority leader and member of this committee.
Maseno University, member of the committee. My name is Dorcas. My name is Dorcas Logo, MC Minority Whip, and I'm a member of this committee.
My name is Newton Salim, MC Shishwa, and Minority and a member of this committee.
Yes, Ms.Gloria Wawuda, we have the necessary documents.
Yes, I do.
And chapter 6.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Gloria, you address me as Speaker, Mr. Speaker, not Your Honor. Yeah, just feel at home, relax. This interview will take 1 hour. I will start by asking this question. Can you tell us about yourself while noting every education milestone?
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. Gloria Wawuda Monikombo is a senior vocational and technical trainer in the Ministry of Education, Science and Technology, State Department of Vocational and Technical Training. I was born in Voi and raised in Saraigu sub-location, Mura Ward, Mwatate constituency within Taita Taveta County. So I started my education in 1985. Your Honor, you will allow me to start with the pre-primary education because most people actually fail to mention the pre-primary education, rather better known as nursery, and the fact that I am a nominee to the education docket where ECD is domiciled, it is in order that I mention my nursery school. So I started in 1985, and the nursery school that I attended was in VTC, Mireni. For those who come near St. Mary's, maybe Mura, I believe you know where FTC Ngereni is. FTC stands for Farmers Training Center, and it is now rather a campus of Taita Taveta University.
Yes, we don't want to go. We want not to take us through the CV. We just mentioned the milestones.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm not going through the CV. Yeah. So after nursery school, I went to Kidaya Saraigu Primary School from 1996 to 1993. Thereafter, I joined Dr. Agri High School. Then it was a mixed school from 1994 to 1997. And in high school, I was bestowed with a number of responsibilities, like I was the laboratory captain, and I was also at one point the timekeeper. After secondary school, my secondary school, I joined Maseno University for my bachelor's degree in education arts.
Just remove any reading material from the table. We don't want to. Yes.
Okay, after Maseno University, let me take that again. So after Dr. Agri, I went to Maseno University where I did my bachelor's in education, split in English and literature, and that made me a teacher of English and literature. Thereafter, I joined the Teacher Service Commission. Before I joined the Teacher Service Commission, I taught in Mafuga High School as a BOM teacher. Then the BOM was used by, rather was known as BOG. So I taught in Mafuga for some months, and then proceeded to Taita Academy again for some months. And then thereafter I went to St. John's Secondary School, Kaloleni, where I taught from 2005 up to 2008. 2008, that is when I got employed by the Teacher Service Commission, and my first station was St. John's Secondary School, Murange, where I taught for rather since 2008 up to 2014. And in St. John's, I was bestowed again with a number of responsibilities. At one point, I served as a member of the tender committee. I was also the head of languages department. I coached the athletics team, the drama and music team, and they did actually reached the national levels, that is both athletics and drama and music. After St. John's, I got transferred to Coast Institute of Technology as a trainer, that is in 2014. So I've been in CIT and I rose through the ranks. I started as a trainer, then became a deputy registrar. Thereafter, I became a registrar, and currently I'm the deputy principal in charge of academics and students' affairs. My achievements in CIT, I've actually served in a number of committees, and there are some committees that I'm still serving. Your Honor, if you may allow me to mention the committees that I have served in. One of them is the Internal Quality Assurance Committee, where I'm the chair. So we normally carry out quarterly audits in the institution to see whether we are complying with the Tibet standards and guidelines. And I believe from that experience, I'm actually going to also do the same when I'm confirmed in this position. Apart from the Internal Quality Assurance Committee, I am also serving in the National Polytechnic Committee. Yeah, CIT is supposed to be elevated to a National Polytechnic status. And in fact, sometime last year, that was towards the end of last year, I remember I accompanied one of the board members to this house, where we were supposed to engage the members of this house in coming up with the name in case CIT became a National Polytechnic. So I'm serving in that committee, and I am the chair in that committee. So what the committee does is to ensure that the requirements and the guidelines that are stipulated by Taveta are met before we actually confirmed as a National Polytechnic institution. So far, so much has been done, so much has happened, and in fact, as of towards the end of last year, what we were being told is that plans were actually at an advanced state. So very soon, of course, God willing, and we're actually hoping that the CIT will actually receive the National Polytechnic status, and that will go a long way in helping the youth in Taita Taveta County, and even the VTCs that we have in the county. They can actually collaborate, they can partner with the CIT in a number of ways. Apart from being the chair of the National Polytechnic Committee, I am also the recognition of prior learning coordinator. And right now there's actually a training that I am undertaking, and the training is actually being facilitated by colleges and institutes Canada. In fact, I have a class this evening. So the RPL, or recognition of prior learning, is all about recognizing the competencies and the skills of the people who did not go through the formal education. There's so many people outside there who are mechanics, who are technicians, and yet they do not have any certificates to show that they have those qualifications. So RPL, once implemented by the national government, will ensure that such people's skills and competencies are recognized. And CIT is one of the 25 pioneer centers of excellences in the country for RPL. So once again, the government now rolls out the program. Of course, the youth of Taveta County and even other people who have skills and competencies will benefit from that program. Now, apart from being the RPL coordinator, I also served as a member in the CBET implementation committee. Now, CBET is an equivalent of CBC at the tertiary institutions level. So I served in that committee, and we have quite a number of CBET courses that we have implemented in CIT. I understand that the courses that we have in our VTCs, they actually close to what we are implementing in CIT, that is the CBET courses, because meter is more of hands-on skills, the same thing we have with the CBET courses. So in that committee, we implemented a number of courses. Unfortunately, sometime this year, the government actually issued a directive that we should stop enrolling trainees into CBET courses because of the transfer of the functions of TVET CEDA to NEC and KICD. So I believe they are still sorting their in-house issues, and maybe thereafter we shall have those courses. Rather we shall start enrolling trainees in those courses. Now, the reason why I am emphasizing
Gloria, I want to advise you because I don't take too much of your time in one question, because you eat on your time, and when after 1 hour you say the time is up. So make sure that you are on point, because you will take too much time on one question, and we have many questions we want to ask you.
Okay, thank you.
So
yes.
Can you sum up that?
Okay, let me summarize. So I've served in a number of committees, and I'm also still serving in some of the committees. So I mentioned my bachelor's degree. I also went to Kenyatta University for my master's in business administration with a bias in strategic management. My project was on the influence of farm resources on SMEs, competitive advantage of SMEs in BOE, and allow me to mention 2 resources that featured in that study. There was the ICT resource and the human capital, which are very also key in our county. And one of the recommendations in that study was that the workers or the employers need to embrace ICT, something that I believe as a county we are supposed to embrace. We need to digitize some of our functions, and of course I'm cognizant of the fact that our governor did participate in a function where there was a group of people who were at VESU, and they were actually trying to see how the functions in our hospitals can be digitized. So we need to embrace ICT also in our VTCs. Human capital, they need to be trained, something that we also need to do in our county. Apart from my master's, I also did a course on senior management from Kenya School of Government. I think that is my last.
You have taken almost 15 minutes, and that was part A of the first question, and you have two more questions to ask. Can you write them down, then answer them to go? Give us the relevance of your qualification to the position you are nominated for. How do you intend to use your qualifications in the management of the docket you have been nominated for? Yeah, you can go ahead and ask the first question.
Thank you, Your Honor. So the first question, my relevance of my qualifications to the positions that have been nominated to. The position that I've been nominated to is education, libraries, and VTCs. And going by my qualifications, I'm actually a teacher. I started as a teacher, and in this case, of course, I do understand what teaching is all about. As much as there's so many changes that have taken place, I'm one person who learns things very fast. and therefore if there is anything that has happened on the ground that maybe I do not have in my qualification, like I've said, I would actually learn it very fast. So I am a teacher, and my master's in business administration with a bias in strategic management. There are many units on management that I covered, like human resource. I understand in this position there is the element of human resource that I'll be managing. I also had a unit on strategic management. Strategic management is all about developing plans. Again, in this docket, I understand that there are plans to be developed, there are policies to be developed and implemented and all that. So the knowledge actually gained through my studies will come in handy in this position. Apart from that, the fact that I have worked in CMT, which is a Tibet institution, the VTCs that we have in our county, they all actually fall under Tibet institutions. So there is no big difference between the institution where I am working currently and the VTCs that I will be managing, because they all belong to Tibet, rather they are Tibet institutions, and we are actually using the same guidelines, though the directorates are different, but the guidelines actually are the same. So my qualifications are actually relevant to this position. Question number 2, how can I use my qualifications to manage the docket? My qualifications, allow me to reiterate, the knowledge that I've gained in strategic management. Again, there are policies to be developed. There are policies to be implemented. There are also plans, to be developed. So I will use that knowledge, like I said, to develop the policies, of course, working with other people in the department and being guided by the institution and the relevant laws that we have in our country, and of course ensure that those policies or those plans are implemented, and at the end of the day we actually see results. Thank you.
Thank you. Maseno Mwadime, you can pose the next question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Welcome, Madam Gloria, and allow me to ask a few questions. Maybe also take note, but within time. What is your post-qualification experience? What's your post-qualification experience? The second one, what is that key achievement that you have that can inspire the sitting and those watching us live from home and wherever, for you to can motivate us to approve your nomination? Then another question, how do you intend to use modern technology in service delivery in your docket? And again, another question, service and technology. Something else maybe you can share, the highs and lows in your career, the highs and lows in your career. Then, I believe you have done some research, desk or whatever, now that you have been in this country, didn't come yesterday. What do you consider be a key challenge in the delivery of service in the docket which you have been nominated. So please look at those, and I'll give you 3 supplementary so that I don't come back asking again. Another question, how many ECD centers and VTCs do we have in Taveta County, and their status probably under the staff establishment? This supplementary may choose to answer or Skype. Name two MCAs from each sub-county and their respective wards. And finally, policies, maybe policies and laws that are made for this county that are in current operation, or even in absence of them, what are your policy proposal and recommendation? Thank you.
Thank you. Your Honor, allow me to address the questions.
Allow me to make a correction. When in the chambers in the assembly, you address the chair. No, the chair is the speaker. The man seated on my left. So all your conversation should be directed to the chair. It is the chair of this committee, not your Honor again.
Thank you. Chair, allow me to respond to these questions randomly, that is by not following the order in which they have been asked. So I will start with question number 2, the key achievements that I have that will inspire the people of Taveta County. A case in point that I want to refer to is the digitization of some functions in a CIT, that is Coast Institute of Technology. Yeah. Those of us who are teachers in this house, Chair, know that there are professional documents that we normally prepare before we go to class. We also have those documents in the tertiary institutions. Normally, teachers would handwrite. There are those who nowadays use the computer, and therefore they can type. But after typing, they must have a printout which is forwarded to the head of the department. So in CIT, we are actually moving away from that. Those documents are actually done by the trainers. They use the computers that we have in the institution or even their own laptops. They do the documents and then they forward the soft copies to the HOD. The HOD approves. After approving, those documents are then forwarded to the next level. So that is the digitization of the functions, which I also believe that can also be done in our county. Another key achievement in CIT, I also coordinated the establishment of the virtual classrooms. We have 2 of them since the onset of COVID. You all understand that most of the, not really most, in fact all, the educational institutions were actually closed. Learning was not happening. The same happened to the tertiary institutions, and so CAT was affected. So we were supposed to go online, and because of that, after some time, we managed to establish 2 virtual classrooms in our institution. And I was actually the person who was coordinating the establishment of those virtual classrooms. And what we have in those virtual classrooms, we have the content that has been uploaded by our trainers. The content is actually done by our trainers, digitized content, which was then uploaded to we call it the LMS, Learning Management System. So with the virtual classrooms and with the content in the Learning Management System, learning or training can actually go on even when the trainees are not in the institution. So those are key achievements. And even
Gloria,
yes,
you have about 40 more questions. At that rate, we will only do 3 questions and yeah, please.
Okay,
Get to the point.
Thank you. Another question, Chair. The challenges in delivery of service in this docket. Maybe one of the challenge could be the human resource. I am privy to the fact that there are some who are not employed on a permanent and pension basis. There are those who are on contract, and there are even those who are not employed. So that is going to be a challenge. Another question: the highs and lows in my career. The highs, this can be depicted by the achievements that I have so far gained in my career. They are quite a number. And because of time, I will not go into the details. The lows, when you train and the trainees fail, it takes actually a dip on yourself, rather you feel it. Why? Because any given teacher would actually want to teach his students and make sure that they pass. But now when you teach and the students, not really all of them, but some, fail, of course, you feel it. So I can say that is the low in my career. The number of VTCs in our county, I'm not very sure, but I did look at the CIDP, and the information contained therein, there are 24, and the ECDs are 495. The staff establishment, I cannot remember that, so I will pass that. Name 2 MCAs from each sub-county. Chair, let me start with Taita sub-county. There is Honorable Anseli Chao, who is the Deputy Speaker. There is Honorable Newton Kifuso from Mingu, Kishushe. That is Taita. From Bula, there is Anthony Munamba, who is my MCA. I mean from Matate County, sub-county. There is Anthony Munamba, who is my MCA. And then there is Kennedy Mwalewa, MCA Matate. Boy, I also reside in Boy, there is Azza D. Sorry if I have mispronounced your name. He's also my MCA from Kaloleni. And then another MCA from Boy Sub-County. There's Bryson Mwambi from Sagala. Among many others. There's also Lawrence Nzunga from Bololo, because CAT is actually in Bololo and Kaloleni. There's also one from Voi. I've forgotten the first name, but The surname is Malalo. Is it Malalo or Makalo? Yeah. And I know him because of the song that he was using during the campaign. It was actually very, very lyrical. He could actually dance, to the song. So I know him from there. Taveta, there is Harifa, I've forgotten the surname. Somebody was telling me that he was my student in St. John's in and I'm yet to actually meet him and confirm that. And then there's also Daniel Kimuyu, who happens to be a member of the education committee from Taveta County. Thank you, Chair. Policies and laws for this county that are operational, and even those that are not operational. Yeah, we have one policy that I'm aware of, the ECB policy. It was agreed at one point by the Council of Governors, and I must indicate that I'm not very sure whether it became operational or not. Laws, we have the education fund, the education fund bill of amendment bill of 2018. It is by Taveta County Education Fund amendment bill of 2018. I cannot actually remember the others. They have eluded my mind. Post-qualification. The post-qualification experience. Because in this docket, you need to be somebody who has, who is conversant with Tibet, with Taveta. Why? Because with the VTCs, we have what we call the accreditation of institutions, accreditation of courses. So you need to be somebody who is aware of the Tibet authority, that is Taveta, the Tibet guidelines. You also need to be conversant with the libraries and how they are operated. Again, you also need to be conversant with the ECDE. Thank you. I think I've answered all the questions, Chair. Thank you.
Okay. We'll ask, I'll now ask I'll ask Mheshimiwa Kifuso to take the next questions and try to limit your time yourself so that you can allocate time for each question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to pose the following questions to the nominee. I will pose all the questions, then you note them down, then you start answering them. Question 1. What aspects of education is the docket you are nominated to voice? I repeat. What aspects of education is the docket you are nominated to pose to handle? Number 2. What are the challenges attending to those aspects, and what's your plan on addressing the challenges? what are the challenges attending to those aspects, and what's your plan when addressing the challenges? The other one is, what improvements would you suggest to the Taita Taveta County Education Fund Act of 2013? And the last one, kindly make this committee understand the kind of support that your docket will expect from the following county department, that is, devolution and administration, finance and economic planning, and ICT and digitalization. Person to respond.
Thank you. From the chair, again, allow me to answer the questions in random order. So, I'll start with the last question. The kind of support that I expect to get from ICT and industrialization. Like I had indicated, we need to digitize some of our functions. We need to embrace ICT in our VTCs. So I will work closely, my department will work closely with ICT and industrialization to make sure that this is realized, because we cannot digitize the content without ICT. We cannot have the virtual classrooms without working with the ICT and industrialization department. Finance and economic planning, the kind of support from this docket. Of course, finance, this is where we have the will, let me call it the will of the county. Rather, we expect money so that the department can run. If there are loans, if there are bursaries that need to be disbursed to the beneficiaries, of course, the department will have to work with the finance advocate. Devolution and administration. Devolution, this is where we have the devolved functions better explained. So again, you will have, or the department will have to work with this docket so that we work within the confines of devolution. Like education, I understand, basic education from primary up to secondary, it is actually devolved. And then we also have the VTCs which are also devolved. But now when it comes to other institutions of higher learning, like the tertiary institution like CIT, universities, those are not devolved. So, of course, primary and secondary is not devolved. That is, basic education is not devolved. So, I will have to work with this docket, that is devolution and administration, so that my docket will actually work within the objects of devolution. Question number 1: aspects of the education docket that I'm poised to handle. If I may, I believe I have interpreted this question correctly. The aspects, in this case, we have the libraries, we have the ECD, we have the VTCs, and we also have the Education County Board. At least that is what I saw in some of the reports that I was privy to. And the challenges that I may face as I attend to these aspects, maybe one, library. One of the challenges that I have seen in the reports that was private to, there was the element of books not reaching the pupils, the students. the secondary schools. Now, this was being done using the mobile library. So I expect also to have that challenge, and how I plan to address this challenge. Maybe we shall have to sit down with all the people who are relevant to this docket, and even like the others who are supposed to get support from, to ensure that we have maybe a policy where instead of maybe having the mobile library, we can also think of embracing ICT, and we have open, air spaces where we have Wi-Fi, and the students or even the youth, the VTCs, the youth who are in the VTCs can actually access the books online, or what we call the e-resources. Another challenge would be the VTCs. I know there are quite a number that have been put up recently, and they do not have the required equipment and machinery. So I also plan, to work with the other departments, like finance, and ensure that those VTCs are actually equipped with the right equipment and machinery, so that the youth can actually train effectively. Improvements to Taveta County Fund Act of 2013. My proposal would be maybe the policies that we have as far as the fund is concerned. Right now, I'm not very sure of the allocation of the bursaries and loans, how it is done. But if at all we're going to have, this policy, we shall have, the fund. In this case, being allocated equitably in all the wards in Taita Taveta County. Thank you, Chair.
The next person who is going to question number 4. You have 20 minutes to go, and you still have 3 more questions. So just be on.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Before I ask a question on the professionalism side, I wish to ask, or rather congratulate Gloria for being a nominee for CECM, education, libraries, and the VTCs and ICT. But then Gloria, you've really submitted, or you've rendered a lot of documents. How do I justify that they're genuine? Number 2, kindly explain, or rather give information to this committee on how you intend to expand the library. What is your vision for the department, and what is your plan on achieving this? And then lastly, kindly make this committee understand the policy on students' capitation in ECDs and VTCs, and give reasons why you do that. Please be brief.
Chair, I request that she takes the last question.
Okay. The last question is, make us understand the policy on student capitation in ECD and VTCs, and give your reasons and thoughts for that question. Did you understand me?
I believe I have.
Can I repeat it again?
It's okay, kindly.
Okay. Explain to the committee how you intend, or how you understand the policy on student capitation in ECDs and VTCs, and give your thoughts or reasons for the same.
Thank you. With the chair, the documents that I have tendered to this house, how you can justify whether they are authentic. They are actually original documents. They are original documents, and I believe the fact that they have, whether they bear the signatures of the people who, or the officers who awarded those certificates, it is my belief that they are actually authentic. But if you want me to prove their authenticity, I have no problem. I can actually go and have them certified. Thank you. The next question, how I intend to expand the library. Yeah, I understand that we have, according to the CIDP, we have 2 libraries, one in Ngani, another one in Veruga, but there's one under construction in Voi, which I believe was actually completed, so it is intended to use. So in expanding the library services, what I would say here is that we shall have to move with technology. We shall have to move with technology. Why? Because if we are going to construct, more buildings, that means we shall need a lot of money. Of course, I'm not saying that ICT does not require a lot of money, but I think if you compare the two, at least ICT in the long run, it's actually cheaper. So we can, in the department, we can come up with what we call the e-resource, so that instead of students, pupils, and youth relying on the hard copies of books, they can actually get these books through the e-resource. And apart from having the e-resources, we can also have reading areas or even discussion areas around the library, or we can even set aside places in our wadis or sub-counties where we can have Wi-Fi, and with that Wi-Fi, when people are around those places, they should be designated for that purpose. So when people are around those places, they can actually access the materials from our e-resource. The vision for the department. This is how I am actually visualizing it. We have the library, we have the ECD, we have the VTCs. Let me start with the VTCs. With the VTCs, of course, when confirmed, I'll have to visit all the VTCs get, to establish the status quo, and then from there, of course, learn what we need to do. But my vision for the VTCs would be, we need to look at the courses that we are offering. We need to look at the courses that we are offering. How? We should scan our environment. Scan our environment, get to know the problems that we are facing. As the people of Taita Taveta County, and I believe given any problem, there's actually an opportunity. So from there, we can actually have courses that we can actually mount in our VTCs. For example, right now, we all know that mining, Taita Taveta County is well endowed, with quite a number of minerals. So that is an area that we need to actually focus on, so we can have maybe a course on mining in our VTCs. Apart from mining, solar energy is also another area that we need to focus on, and therefore we can introduce a course on solar installation so that we can actually benefit from this. With and many other things that we can have in VTCs. Because of time, because I will not mention all of them. ECD, with the ECD, we all went through nursery schools. You can imagine the nursery school that you are in, and if you are asked to go back there today, I want to believe that no one would want to go back there. Why? Because of their state. And therefore, what my vision for the ECD is that we rebrand them, we actually make them appealing to these children, such that, we can have these children actually looking forward to attending, school. You will concur with me that some of us, during our days, would actually cry when we were being taken to school. Why? Because of moving away from that comfort that we used to enjoy at home. So we need to make the ECDs very comfortable. We need to make them appealing to these children so that they can look forward to going to school. And that way, their mind will actually be nurtured in such a way that even as they grow up, they'll actually grow up focusing on the kind of life that they want to have in future. With the libraries, I think I've already mentioned this, that we need to go e-resource way instead of relying on the hard books in our libraries. Another question: how I am planning to achieve all this, to realize, this vision for the VTCs, ECDs, and library. Of course, anything that we're supposed to do in our country, it has to be backed up by actually a law. So we need to, of course, have policies that will now guide us in realizing the vision that I have stated. On the issue of capitation, on ECD learners and VTCs trainees. Capitation, I did see in a document that I laid my hands on, that the capitation for the ECD is 1,000. If I'm wrong, please let me know. And for the VTCs trainees is 15,000, and that has not been forthcoming. That has not been actually, it has not been done. So what my thoughts on this is, we can actually work together, even with the house, and we come up with policies on how we can have this done, whether we can have our trainees in the big cities benefiting from the capitation, and even the ECD learners benefiting from the capitation. Thank you, Chair. We do have answer to the questions.
Yeah, before I call another member to ask questions, I want to put to you that you have only 10 minutes. So you just have to be very smart the way you ask the questions. I will now call upon Anthony Mwamba, the Majority Leader, to ask the remaining questions.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Gloria, I have the following questions for you. Question 1. How would you run the department devoid of national treasury release at the beginning of the financial year? How would you run the department devoid of national treasury releases at the beginning of the financial year? Second question, what is your net worth? Third question, name 5 nominated cabinet secretaries with their respective dockets. Name 5 nominated cabinet secretaries with their respective dockets at national level. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Let me start with the last question. Through the Chair, 5 cabinet secretaries nominated. One, we have the CS in charge of education, Ezekiel Machogu. 2, we have Ababu Namamba, who is the CS for sports. 3, we have Aisha Juma, who is the CS for gender. 4, we have okay, the names have eluded my mind. I do not expect this. The names have eluded my mind. I cannot get the last 2. Next question, my net worth should be 30 million thereabouts. How I will run the department, considering that
Maybe you can give us the breakdown of the 30 million.
Okay, 30 million. I have 3 houses in Voi. I have a parcel of land in Savaigo, another one in Matate, and another one in Voi. And apart from that, also the salary that I'm receiving from the Public Service Commission. Yeah, so if you compute all this, will come to 30 million or thereabout. How I will run the department, considering that the National Treasury has not disbursed funds at the beginning of the financial year. Like I said, money is actually the wheel of any organization, and without it, programs will not run. So, if we do not have money from the treasury, we, in our county, we also, collect revenue. So, the revenue that is collected, of course, through proper policies that have been laid down, we can receive, from rather some amount from that, at least to have the programs in the department. Apart from that, our governor has been emphasizing on, partnering with organizations, and I want to believe from such partnerships we can actually, get some money to run the programs in our departments. Thank you.
Mheshimiwa Nancy, can I ask any questions?
Thank you for the session. Ms.Gloria, good afternoon. Mine is on, you know that Taveta is currently in drought. So there is no continuously feeding program that's for the ECD learners. How would you ensure that our children don't drop out of school due to this program? And another question, how would you deal with the Chief Officer, Finance and Economic Planning, who is not keen with working with your CCO?
Let me start with the second question from the chair. The CCO Finance, who is not ready to work with the CCO Education. First of all, what I would do, of course, I'll talk to them. That is, engage them so that I establish where the problem is. And if I fail, maybe to resolve the issue that they could be having, then we shall have to evoke the human resource policy. And I believe that almost all human resource policies talk about teamwork. Maybe no teamwork, it can be working as a team in the same department, or working as a team in different departments. So with that, then we shall be able to resolve the issue. Of course, make the two see the sense and start working together. The problem of drought that has affected the feeding program in the ECD centers, how I intend to address it. Once confirmed, I would actually look for, rather work with the members of this house, and see how we can address this. And by working with the members of this house, of course, we need to have a policy that will now back up our activities on feeding the ECD learners. If coming up with a policy will take time, I believe it will not be wrong. It will not be wrong to get support from the members of this house, from the people of Taveta County. We go what we call the acts of mercy way. We can have a city where people can actually contribute, and ensure that our learners in the ECD centers are not affected by this drought. Thank you.
The time is up, but we'll still ask. We'll extend by maybe 10 more minutes so that we can finish the questions that we have for you. Mheshimiwa Makala, you have a question?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First, Madam Gloria, congratulations for making this one, and I wish you the very best. In the event you be the CS education, I'm interested to understand how you will look forward to work with the other education stakeholders. The fact that we understand the primary education is not devolved, the second education is not devolved, the other functions that are still in the national government. When it comes to education, the entire Taveta County, we have issues even in our primary schools, in our secondary schools, that maybe they may need your input. So maybe we are also interested to understand how we are going to work together with the other education officers to make sure that we are able to put this country back on track as far as education issues are concerned. I also understand there is a TC, the Taveta University, University. When you go there and tell the number of students who are schooling there from the Taveta County, you'll be shocked the number is very low. So I'm interested to understand how are you going to work together, maybe with the other leaders in the Taveta County and the educational stakeholders to make sure that we're able to see your numbers going higher in the event that you will be the CEC. Then of course, I also wanted to hear your opinion as far as the new curriculum is concerned, the CDC. What is your opinion on the same? The fact that there is a task force ongoing to give your opinion. I'm interested to know other person, maybe your personal opinion on the fact that you're a professional. Then how are you going to align it with the TVET and the TVET in our Taveta County to benefit our young boys and girls who are looking forward to benefit from the same? Thank you.
Thank you. Through the chair, how I intend to ensure that basic education, especially the areas that are not devolved, education standards of the required status. We have what we call the County Education Board, and the composition of that board. We have people from the primary school, representative from the secondary school, among other people who are represented. Even the CEC education is also represented in that board, and even the director. The director, VTCs, is in fact the secretary of that board. So in ensuring that the education standards actually remain, rather not really remain, but are improved, I will work with that board. I'll work with that board because, if you look at the functions of that board, one of them is to manage and coordinate the management and operations of basic education and even tertiary institutions. So that even includes the VTCs that we have in our county. About TTU, Taveta University, the enrollment being very low. In this case, we shall have to work with what we call the KUCCPS, Kenya Universities and Colleges Central Placement Services. And I wish to note that it is not just TTU, even the other universities are affected. And in fact, the CS education was actually at a task to explain why this is happening, because it seems KUCCPS is actually favoring the private universities. So moving forward, in this case, we shall have to work, with the ministry to ensure that students are actually placed in Taveta University. And maybe apart from Taveta University, please allow me to also say about CET. CET, we do not have many students, especially students from Taveta County. And yet, if you look at the machines that we have there, I even wonder why our youth are not benefiting from those, rather using those machines. But moving forward, we shall have the VTCs also partnering with CIT so that they can also have a feel of those machines, bearing in mind that most of them actually state of the, the art machines, what you expect to find in the industry. So it is good that we partner, with them so that our trainees and the VTCs can also benefit. My take on CBC and the fact that we have a task force in place. So many people have complained, especially parents who have learners who are being taken through this new curriculum. I would say that maybe looking at the complaints that I've had, it's quite expensive on the part of the parent or the guardian. And maybe what the government should do or even the government should do, maybe can chip in and at least lessen the burden on the parents or the guardian. Otherwise, my opinion, it's a very, good program. If we shall have, our children being taken through this program, and then at the tertiary level we have the CBET, I'm very sure maybe in the next 20 years we shall be like, South Korea, the people who embraced, CBET education a long time ago. I think I've answered all the questions. Thank you, Chair.
I will now call upon the Mr. Mabishi. Honorable Mabishi.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Move direct the question because of the interest of time. So, first question. If you get a post of CECM, how do you plan to work with the county assembly? Second question, the last. Learning is a continuous process. We have got members of the public who are family men and women who wants to go back and to learn to our VTCs. But due to the manner in which our VTCs operate, they don't get accommodated there. So what plans do you have to have them accommodated and not being able to abandon their family responsibilities? Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Through the Chair, let me start with the last question. How we can take care of let's call them adult learners who want to further their studies in our VTCs. Like I said, if we embrace ICT, if we have the virtual, learning, they can actually learn from home. And then, of course, considering that the kind of training that we have in our VTCs is hands-on, they can only visit the centers or the institutions when there are practicals to be undertaken. On the first question, working with how I intend to work with the county assembly. Yeah, I understand there is a committee on education, libraries and VTCs. So through this committee, I believe that we shall work together, and the fact that you people are on the ground and you understand, the problems that our people are facing, on the ground, through public, participation, you can actually get those problems right from, the ground, and, they can reach their department, and at the end of the day, we shall actually have them, solved. In a nutshell, what I can say is I will have to work with the county assembly so that we can actually realize the targets in this docket. Thank you.
Let me also give another chance to Honorable Patricia.
Good afternoon, Gloria. I understand that you are an employee of Public Service Commission. I don't know what terms it's CAT, permanent or contractual? And if it's permanent, why do you wish to leave a job that is permanent for contractual one? Thank you.
Thank you so much for that question. Through the chair. Yes, I'm an employee of Public Service Commission, and if confirmed, what is going to happen is I will apply for leave of absence, considering that the State Department of Vocational and Technical Training is actually related to this docket because of the VTCs. So after the contract, then I will of course revert to my non-current employer. Thank you.
Okay. I think now the last question has just been asked. It means that since you have a plan B, if things don't work, you will go back. So are you sure you will be committed?
Chair, okay, I don't want to stress, but I actually commit to work for this county. I commit to work for this county, and I'm praying that God will actually enable me to realize the vision that I have for this county.
Thank you. Do you have anything to tell this committee?
Through the chair, I want to appreciate the committee and all the members present. What I'll say is that, it has been a very, let me say, enduring engagement. And I wish that God will guide you. I did not say at the beginning, but I believe that Jesus is Lord. And so I want to believe that God will guide you and enable you to make the right decision as far as my confirmation to this docket is concerned. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Gloria. It's good that we have that show interest as a county, so that you can come and you are showing interest in working with this county. So I also wish you all the best. If you make it, we'll interact more. If you don't make it, we'll be meeting in the streets. Thank you. So I want to say that now the interview is